All right, my loves, my loves. As I'm sure you can tell from the title of this episode, this is going to be one of my favorite kinds. It's an episode that flowed out this morning as I was sitting down to write. It's definitely like powerfully grounded in where things are at right now. For me, the energy I'm feeling in the community, in the world around us right now, I just cannot. I love episodes like this. So, get ready to dive in with me. This episode's going to be more of like a vibrational transmission. You guys know when it's just like when source is flowing through me. That's what this episode is going to be at the heart of it. But before we dive in to all of that juicy amazingness that I'm so excited to talk about with all of you, I just wanted to say real quick, as a quick reminder, I realized too this week, I was like, oh my God, over on Substack for these first 2 months of Substack, I've had an amazing special going on with like a 27% discount forever on your subscription to my Substack, to the podcast going forward. That comes out to an annual subscription that leaves you at $8 a month for the podcast going forward. For the lifetime of this podcast going forward, your price will never go up. It will stay at $8 a month. And that ends, y'all. That ends on November 4th. So if you have not gone and subscribed yet, if you have still been waiting, maybe, like me, like to come in last minute right before the doors close, this is your reminder that come November 4th, that beautiful, amazing special that I was running at the start of this incredible journey with y'all on Substack will be ending and will be locked in at the $11 a month price going forward. So just a huge shout out to all of you that have already subscribed. Y'all, I already knew this episode was going to be like, I'm going to be a little bit emotional just because I've got like so much opening and so much energy coming through right now. But it has meant the world to see so many of you subscribe and, paying for my work. As a woman who you guys know this, we've talked about this on the podcast. It's difficult as women to ask to be compensated for the things that we are giving so generously and willingly to the world. And this was really a huge step for me, moving into a space of resourcing myself better, opening to reciprocity, opening to receiving. And what a tremendous outpouring there has been from so many of you signing up, getting to see that come through, getting to feel that like, wow, okay. Not only do people want to listen when it's free, but they also want to listen when they have to support me as well back. And that feels really amazing, y'all. So thank you. Thank you to many of you. I'm sending you so many kisses and hugs in just deep gratitude. Having that extra financial support, I can see how much it is supporting my nervous system. Because y'all, I am, as you guys know, a divorced single mom figuring my life out financially. And so to have that added additional support, it's amazing how much it is helping my nervous system go, okay, yeah, we're going to be safe. We've got this. And as it's doing that, I'm seeing it blossom even more into like, okay, let's fucking go. Especially in the last few weeks, coming off of the retreat, just opening and expanding into more and more of who I want to be in the world and this message and what I want to share. So know that you are all an immense and very important part of that. I'm learning more and more how I can't do this on my own. It's about doing it with the support and love of all of you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now let's dive into what's been building in me this week, what I've been wanting to be able to talk with you all about, and what really came through powerfully yesterday. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and yesterday was October 18th. And for those of you that are on my Instagram, you would have seen me posting a bunch of videos and pictures from the march. This was probably, I think this was like either the third or fourth No Kings March that I've been to this year. And it was amazing, y'all. I always feel nervous energy going into these, it's like, what's going to happen? Are we going to be safe? Or, and there's always a lot of, drama around it leading up to it, especially in the media, not always in the beginning, but more recently in the last two, there has been. And so we pack tear gas stuff just in case, just to be ready in case there's anything that happens. And there never has been. And sure enough, with this one, there wasn't once again. They are the most peaceful, amazing protests. But we went yesterday and I left just feeling so emboldened, y'all, so empowered and so filled with love and, the connection that Quinn and I talked about last week on the podcast. Just this feeling of connection from seeing all of these other people. I mean, such a range, so many different ages, from young to old. I think I love seeing how many old people there are out there, like people literally doing the march with walkers, just people bravely coming together to stand up to what this year for me at times has felt like an insurmountable wave of just, out of control, right? Like I have struggled a lot, my mental health this year, with feeling like, what can I do? And feeling really unsafe. So when I was out there yesterday walking with all these beautiful people, I mean, just every race, every nationality, every language, and walking with them and being like, these are my people, I couldn't help but come away from that thinking to myself, our future is unwritten when it comes to the US. And I've noticed, especially as many of you know, when Jimmy Kimmel went off the air, there was a lot of people coming out and saying, like, we are fucked. Like, it's over. We're fucked. And honestly, y'all, I actually felt a lot of relief in kind of accepting, like, okay, authoritarianism is here, fascism is here. It almost like released some of the pressure. But I've noticed too, a lot of people coming out that are trying to predict what's going to happen in the US based off of history. And they approach it as, here's what's happened in countries that have gone into fascism in the past. Here are like the four options of what's going to happen in the US. Here's what we need to do. And in some ways, great. I do think we need to have a historical perspective, but ultimately, what I saw yesterday really brought me back to this powerful feeling of like, we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea what's possible here in the US. We are in unprecedented times. And choosing to believe for myself that our future is unwritten and walking with those people yesterday, getting to feel that energy of like, oh yeah, and these people, these are the people that are writing our history. And as we band together and there are more and more of us, we get to write a history that's different than maybe what the history books have said and what everybody's looking towards. And even when it feels like we're trapped by what's come before, we can change our futures. So, this episode is going to hopefully for y'all be a rallying cry for those of you that may have felt a little bit embattled by this year, by 2025, that may have felt discouraged, that may have felt overwhelmed by everything that you're seeing, to kind of where I have started landing, especially after the march yesterday, of really coming back into this beautiful, powerful belief that our futures are unwritten, and to really soften into trusting the mystery and to connecting in with those around us and changing our personal futures, and thereby through that changing that, rippling out into everybody else. So for those of you listening, I know, This is a podcast about considering divorce. So for many of you, this will feel very personal because what's happening in the big greater world, right? I mean, yes, I'm talking specifically about in the US, but what happens here in the US absolutely ripples out into the rest of the world. In fact, I'll just share real quickly. I was talking with Joe last night about this, and he has a friend that's over in Poland. And his friend was like, dude, we are freaking out over here about what's happening in the US. He was like, I'm honestly considering like selling everything and investing in gold because this is a huge deal. And I saw, protests happening, like No Kings protests happening in London and in France. Like, y'all, this is a huge, momentous moment in the history of our world. And for many of you, I want to now, if that's the macrocosm, I want to bring that down into the microcosm of your own individual journeys, right? Because many of you are standing at the edge of your own unknown, of a future that you have no writing for, right? A future that when you look at it, you're like, that's the wilderness. There are no trails there. There are no roads. No one I know personally has gone out that direction before. Wondering to yourself, what's it going to look like, if I decide to leave my marriage? What could be possible if we decide to stay and we rewrite the rules in our marriage? So many unknowns for all of you. And I really hope this episode will inspire you to remember that the answers to those questions about the future, I want us to stop looking to the past for those answers. And it's not even that, you're going to actively, move aggressively into the future, as much as I want this episode to be a call to being present in the current questions, like letting the questions be unanswered, because in our rush to answer the questions, in our rush, I'm watching everybody want to predict where the US is going to go, what's going to happen, what do we need to do next? We lose the magic and the possibility that is available right here in the present now. And that's what I want to call you all towards is, and I'll talk about it more in depth later, explaining kind of what I really mean by living the questions, allowing yourself to live in the not knowing, because in the not knowing is where you discover and come to know yourself. In the not knowing what's going to happen in the external, you come to know yourself. So I want to start off by diving into, kind of mentioned it earlier, that we as humans love to try and predict. It's just like a human thing. We want to know what's going to happen before it happens. We want to know the future. And if there's anything that coaching has taught me, it is how much the idea that we can predict what's going to happen is a myth. Like especially when it comes, so I think in the macrocosm, there is, definitely there are things we can predict there. But when we come down into the microcosm of what we can predict for our lives, I really want us to lean less towards trying to predict and more towards realizing we really don't know. We don't know what the future holds. And when we try to predict the future, what are we trying to predict that future off of? The only thing we can predict off of is the past, right? We have to look to the past to go, what's happened there? What do we predict will happen next? And I do want to say, I absolutely believe we still need to know history. Okay. I have found so much wisdom and knowledge this year in seeing the patterns from the past and going, okay, this is fascism. This is authoritarianism. This is what's happening. Like, that has been amazing. Where I feel like that is limited is when I take that and I go look at what's happened in the past. And then I go, okay, so here's where we're headed in the US. And I start to spiral into like doom and gloom. And oh my God, things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better. Like, those thoughts and beliefs based off of the past do not serve me now or create me showing up in ways that actually build the future I most want to see. And here's what I know. This is the like